Hey folks, it's Carl over at Sterling Health and Fitness and HoonzaHealthy.com. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming at you today from Iron Fist Athletics in Nanuet, New York. And I have two really special guests with me today. I have Dr. Jeff Varghese and Saro Spenjian. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for being a part of my program and joining me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate
Been
it.
looking forward to this a lot, too. So we're going to get right down to the meat and potatoes today. We're in a CrossFit facility also.
Yep.
And CrossFit's been getting a bad rap for a long time. All right. And for you people watching, they knew I was going to say that. So there are no surprises here. There are no, we're not throwing any punches, no surprises. CrossFit's been getting a bad rap, okay? I've heard it from so many people. There's all the critics out there. They're saying that it's dangerous. It's not effective. It's not safe. It's higher risk of injury, higher injury rates, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, you're doing something different. It's obvious because you're a doctor of physical therapy,
Right.
and Evan, a physical therapist, he's doing it. You're you're the owner of the business.
Correct,
here.
yes.
Okay. Saro's the owner. And so you're doing something right because you have people returning. They're coming back. They're doing this. You have a big following.
Seeing great results.
Great
our
results.
big thing,
yeah. You're helping people to achieve their goals, to realize success while staying safe. That's safe and effective. So what that leads me to believe as a trainer, you're doing something different.
It can work.
Yeah, and it absolutely. Then that's the whole point of this video, folks. Is these gentlemen are living, and so are their clients. I mean, the clients here, the people who come here to work out, they're living, breathing proof CrossFit can be done safely and effectively. So what are you doing? How does it work?
You want me to lead this?
Sure.
All right. The whole myth about CrossFit, well, first, if you look back 5, 6, 7 years ago, CrossFit wasn't around. What was around? Olympic lifting was around, gymnastics was around, people running was around, kettlebell stuff was around. Mm-hmm. What did CrossFit do? It brought it all together, correct? Right. That's what we do here. So these things are around 10, 20, 30 years. People were getting injured doing them. You just saw such a fluctuation of people and a huge flood of people come in. All of a sudden there's 200,000 people within 2 years doing it. So that many more people doing it, the percentages of injuries are going to go up. Mm-hmm. So what our biggest thing, what we can do is education on people themselves is the root where it all starts. What we say, but people becoming educated doing the movements. And that's where it works great with the medical aspect behind it and the physical therapy aspect behind it. Doing certain exercises, preventative exercise before injuries occur, which is huge for us. Awesome. Instead of waiting until somebody to get injured, what can we do to prevent your injury?
One of our biggest things that we look for, especially as as a physical therapist, I look at movement, and we look at movement together. And Saro is an amazing trainer. He's taking courses and courses and classes, and what we look at is movement, how you move, and everyone is individual upon how they move. Some people move better than others. Some joints move better than others. And what we try to do is really analyze each of our individual members and find out what works, what they can do well, and what they can't do well. And what we try to work on is what they can't do well. Right, and that's when we start our programming based on that. If someone's lacking a little bit of hip flexion or a little bit of hip extension, we want to, when we do our programming, Saro sets up our programming where we do a lot of corrective exercises in the beginning.
Right, great.
And then we do our CrossFit type workout, which he'll explain exactly the difference between the two. But the corrective stuff I'll handle a little bit. We do a lot of stabilization stuff, a lot of, besides some core stability, you hear core stability, I know you've heard a ton about it. Yeah. There's a lot of myths about core stability, but what is core stability? And having a six-pack, is that core stability? And, the reality is it's not, right? It's not really attached to your core. When we speak of core, we speak of spine. What attached to the spine? What muscles are attached to the spine, the hips, the pelvis? Because that is technically the core of your body, not just this 3-inch layer of muscle that lays on top of it, right? Because that's what everybody wants. Everyone wants those ab muscles. But we're looking at stabilization muscle, stability muscle. So the core, that's the stability of the whole system. But then if you look in
It's
more...
a foundation, yeah.
It's a foundation. If you look more individually for the upper extremity, we look a lot into the shoulder blades. The scapula is very, very important.
Right.
Into the lower extremity, the hips and the knees are also something that we really focus on.
Okay. So you just answered a bunch of questions, but one of them I want to ask specifically is if you do individual assessments. And it sounds like you do. So you're...
We don't do individual assessments, but when we take somebody in class and they're here for weeks, we learn them.
Okay.
And for instance, I have a workout today, and my 9 a.m. class, 11 people showed up. Not everybody here could do every single movement, but we have regressions and progressions.
Okay.
So somebody, for instance, couldn't lunge because knee issues,
Right.
but they can squat.
Right.
So they're still hitting the same stimuli.
Okay.
So we just set people up differently. We individualize it. Whether somebody can't do a box jump, they could do a step up.
All
So
right.
there's always, somebody can't do a push up to the floor, they could do a push up to a box. Less of an incline.
Got it.
They're always going to hit the same stimuli relative to whether it's you or me.
Right.
So we learn people. We learn our athletes. We don't have a one-on-one assessment, but instantly our biggest thing too is seeing movement. And I can take somebody, give them a bar over their head, tell them to overhead squat. That would show 1,000 flaws in their body.
Okay.
Show their shoulders, show their hips, and we know, hey, you have tight hamstrings. Hey, you have tight hip flexors. You have tight ankles. You have tight lats or traps, and we teach them. Here you go. This is your homework. You have to mobilize, and we teach them how to.
Awesome.
Oh, and it's not something that's a week. It's something that's going to take months and months
Right.
and patience, but it will happen. The worst thing you can do is do this. Sit in this chair.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. He brought it up. We give people homework. Saro's really, really good at giving people homework. Hey, you need to work on this. If you want to get better at something, if you want to avoid injury, you need to take your health into your own hands. We can't do everything for you.
You know, what do we see people? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week? There's
Right.
170 hours in a week.
A lot of other time in the week to
Yeah,
screw it up
yeah.
or not
Yep,
do anything.
That's the big thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we put it on the clients. If you want to really do well,
Good.
it's based on you. It's not up to him to get you better at doing whatever or hitting
We
your
can
goals.
guide you.
Yeah, you're
You
the
gotta
guy.
do it.
Yeah.
We're here to educate, really.
That is great. So you are you're watching and you're monitoring people. So you see them struggling, you can go right over and you can give them a regression, or maybe they need more of a challenge, progression, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You're monitoring that very closely. So tell me now, what is you're always getting continuing education. You're continuing what you're learning. You start off with whatever credential you had, but you build upon that. Can you explain a little bit about that and what you've been doing on that?
What we like doing, and me and Jeff have been working together over a decade now. We learn off each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What we did opening up the gym, we get a CrossFit Level 1 certification. It's a weekend seminar. It's awesome. But besides that, for me to be better, so I can help people out, I constantly go to different Olympic lifting, gymnastics, powerlifting, strongman, different seminars to pick up a handful of extra tools that I can use to help my clients and myself.
Yeah.
But beyond coaching, of somebody standing there, oh, come on, you can do it, we want to educate people on getting the best movement mechanic possible.
Mm-hmm.
A coach, anybody could be a cheerleader per se, but somebody, the science behind it, really getting down to the root on getting somebody healthy is our fitness is our key. You walk around the six-pack is not my worry. Mm-hmm. That'll happen on its own. Mm-hmm. You being pain-free, you picking up a box off the floor, you doing your gardening at home, that's what we go to. And people are like, oh, I need to lose 30 pounds in a month. That's not my worry. My worry is getting you healthy, and in time, in months, it'll happen.
Right. So it sounds like you're approaching it from a functional movement
100%.
perspective.
At least what we do here. We want you guys strong, fit, faster, and healthy. So the physical appearance will come.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's what I do too in my training. I'm always looking at, is this exercise or this lift or whatever, does it translate to real life functionality? Right. Are we ever going to use it? And if so, then there's a good chance we're going to do it.
You'll squat every day of your life. You just squat on that chair.
Exactly.
You sat down, so we got to squat.
That's great. That's great. So how about some of the there's a specific design to the program, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that works?
Right. Well, you want me to do the corrective stuff and you do the... or you want- Again, the basic protocol, Saro designed the basic program, and he is the one who programs every week, every day. And he'll call me and ask me, just because of my medical background, hey, what do you think about starting with this, or what do you think about this, to get something activated. A lot of our first basic half of our workout is, each class is about an hour long, right? Mm-hmm. The movement, we have a mobility
in between the two sessions.
In between the two sessions, there's a mobility section. So we're stretching, mobilizing, opening things up for about 10 to 15 minutes. Prior to that, we do a lot of dynamic flexibility, dynamic strengthening, dynamic stretching kind of exercises, and some stability work, and trying to get muscles activated. The muscles that we're going to use for our primary workout, we are getting activated, getting them fired up, getting loosened up. Yeah. So that's kind of what our the beginning section is, and then we'll do a lot of mobilizations to open up any tight hip joints, anything else. And we have Saro designed specific muscles where you might want to target, and that's general for the class. But if specifically you have a hip.
But this is where individuality comes in play too. Okay. You walk over, hey, you need to work on your traps. Compared to somebody, hey, Jeff, you need to work on your hips.
Okay.
So they'll tie that in.
And
there.
we leave a lot of time open for that, because that's very important. If you're not mobile, and then all of a sudden now you're loading the system with weight, and you're not mobile in that position, injuries happen right away.
Right.
So we are very, very we key in on getting your mobility down first, getting comfortable, getting warm, getting everything opened up, and making sure that your pattern is you're developing that good pattern initially before we put any weight on.
Cool, that's great.
Programming, what we do here, we do 3 different things: gymnastics, weights, and monostructural, which is your cardio that you guys know of, running, rowing. And we tie all 3 of them together as many different ways as possible. We run off a 3-week cycle. We do load week, which is heavy, anything against weight. Heavy back squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy pressing. If you're going to do a box jump, you're going to get dumbbells in your hand. If you're going to run with a medicine ball. So we put resistance and weight on the movement.
Depending on the person, what they can tolerate, of course.
Sure, you're definitely going to carry a 5,000-pound kettlebell.
Thank you very, very much.
Then we go, week 2 is volume week, which is high endurance, low weights, a lot of repetition.
A lot of reps.
That is the most important week on people being careful with injury, because a constant movement at high volume, over fatiguing the muscle, you as a person have to be disciplined. It's not like this whole big thing with CrossFit too. Oh my God, I want to get 600 reps in before the clock stops. Maybe getting 500 good reps instead of 600 awkward moving reps is a smarter idea, but we can't help people do that. I can only tell people they have to execute it. And that's the play on CrossFit, where you as an athlete have to be disciplined. That extra 2 reps of sloppy form is not worth it. And then after that week, we run our 3rd week is speed week. It's a combination of both. Load and volume. A lot of rest, high movement, a lot of rest, high movement, interval training.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's the speed week is also, it's maybe necessarily not be actually from point A to point B, but in terms of, it could be a hip opening. How quickly can your hip open to do certain things like a clean or a snatch and those kinds of
explosive movement.
So it's more power then. Is it power related?
Oh, speed week, 100%.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would help. What would help anybody, but imagine you have a lot of athletes who benefit from that.
Oh, that can, football players, baseball players, people coming off a start line fast.
They need to get moving fast, or jump high, or do something. Be explosive and powerful.
Right. I want to touch back on the volume week. A lot of Saro mentioned it already, but a lot of people want to get in higher amounts of reps and do a lot of different things. We don't really care about that. We care about quality of movement, right?
That's the biggest thing we could say, but people implementing it.
It's not the quantity, right? But people, and not just CrossFit gyms, but the people internally, I want to get in more reps too. You know what I mean? We all do. We all have it inherently in us. But for us to, especially when we are actually training for either a competition or just whatever goal we want to get to, we have to be disciplined. And Saro mentioned that self-discipline within yourself is so important. We try to focus on that. Let's be smart. Let's do it the right way. Don't worry about the 2 extra reps right now. You know what I
That's
mean?
cool.
We need to get to
it makes sense. I mean, I think that speaks to your very high success rate, low injury rate.
Well,
I mean, because you're paying attention and you care about the people, you care about what they're doing, you're watching what they're doing. I can tell you, I know that's not happening everywhere. And again, I'm never here to bash anyone, and I'm not. It's just a fact. It's really kind of in any training industry, actually. It's not just CrossFit.
Right. No, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, I think you bring in a great point. Their injuries happen all over. Every sport, anything that anyone does it consistently, you can very easily injure yourself. Right.
Yeah.
And the same thing with CrossFit. A lot of times, people join CrossFit and have never really done a lot of these movements.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Olympic lifters take years to perfect a snatch.
Yeah.
Right. And now all of a sudden, people are coming in, never snatched before, never touched a weight before, and expecting to snatch within 2 to 3 CrossFit
the most
sessions.
technical lift there is in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic, and people don't understand it. So, yes, a 40-year-old who's never done anything before and all of a sudden comes to a CrossFit gym and wants to snatch has a much, much higher risk of injury than if he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just understanding that and educating the patient, or the client, or just the athlete in that sense, getting that right is very important for us.
That makes sense. That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. So I like that you're educating clients and you're sharing with them why they're doing what they're doing. Because I know with my clients, when they know why they're doing it, even they may not like the exercise, but if they can correlate something good to it, a goal they're trying to achieve, I mean, that can make all the difference in how much effort they put into it. So you have a great client, coach-client relation too. And I know you've had a lot of success here. How do you measure success, and how do you show people their successes? That they're making progress, I should say.
Well, one thing that it's awesome about our facility, it's not a typical global gym where you walk in, there's 500 members, 1,000 members. We're a little family here. We got 40, 50, 60 members, and these people stay here for months. You get to know them.
Yeah.
You get to know them very closely. And it's not like somebody walks in, oh, you don't know who that is. Oh, you really know who that is. You know their work schedule, their life, their family, their kids, and everything.
Cool.
So you get to really relate on different levels. How we show success is there's multiple different ways, and Jeff was saying it before, is somebody that walks in and needs to lose weight because they have the weight to lose. Somebody that walks in and says, hey, my hip's hurting. I don't want this hip problem anymore. Mm-hmm. So we show different aspects about that. If you want to relate,
what we've seen here and what we try to do is, people have injuries. They, but they still want to get results or get, better quality of life. Mm-hmm. And me as a physical therapist, I want to make your pain go away. I want to make your hip pain not be existent when you do, when you squat to pick up your kids. And what we try to do, one of our ways we measure success is having you be in less pain during your functional daily activities. So it may not necessarily be, you lost 40 pounds from here to here, but you're able to bend down and squat.
Yeah, I get it all the time where people are like, hey, I walk up the stairs, it doesn't bother me anymore. Or it's all different things per se. Like I'll have people like, oh, I used to ask one of my clients, I'll relate to her, Michelle. She's like, oh, Carlos used to move all the picnic tables into the shed.
Her husband.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
You said Carlos, but
Carlos, her husband. I'm sorry. And she's like, he used to move all the picnic tables into the shed, and she goes, I didn't even ask him for help this
that's cool.
end of the summer, she was putting the stuff in for fall, and she's like, I could do it on my own. So there you go, there's success. She got stronger. She doesn't need help from her husband anymore to do it. So functionally,
Functional training.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's one of the greatest rewards. It's when I have a client that comes to me and says, thank you, I can now do this. One of them was just pick the baby up out of the tub.
Right.
She didn't need her husband to do it. She can get the baby now because she can squat. So rewarding. But
it is.
The best thing is that she's moving better, feeling better, functioning better. And, I'm just her guide.
That's it.
She did the work.
Right.
And you guys are paying attention here. It's really awesome what you're doing. You have a very high success rate, helping people, like you say, move better, feel better.
Oh, God. And people, especially these young girls come in, they lack strength. And the fact that CrossFit brought weights to attracted women or girls coming into lifting weights, it's awesome seeing all these girls come in, these 18, 19, 25-year-old girls come in and become strong. And they're like, wow, I never thought I can deadlift 150 pounds. Well, you could deadlift 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And now they're on close to levels of athleticism as guys. And we have a bunch of girls in here that'll give any guy a run for their money.
Yeah.
And they're
That's
young
awesome.
girls. And I have older people. My mother, take it for example, 60-year-old woman, deadlifts 200 pounds. That is not a
All right,
joke.
man.
And if
Yeah.
anybody
That is
knows what
great.
200 pounds feels like, my 60-year-old mother lifted off the floor.
Wow.
So that's fitness to us. And you'll get the people that do lose 40 pounds, do lose 50 pounds. Those are
Yeah.
the people that have the weight to lose, and by all means, it'll come. If weight loss is something you want as a goal, it'll happen.
Yeah, right.
I think like anything, success is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they want to accomplish, what their goal is, and that's what we want to do. We want to accomplish. We want to have a collaboration of what your goal is and what our goals are for you. And sometimes they may not be realistic. Some people want to deadlift 500 pounds, but sometimes that might not be realistic for the person. But it's our job to educate them.
Everybody deadlift 500 pounds.
There you go. That's really cool. Well, let me ask you this before we sign off and close out. Is there anything more you want to add or any kind of takeaway message?
Yeah, I guess I could give tips to coaches out there. As a coach, you're not supposed to be just fully liked. Like in here, I was telling you guys before, not all my members think I'm the nicest person in the world. And my job is to get them fit, stronger, healthy. And if I have to be a mean jerk sometimes, I have to, because I know what the best scenario is for them. And I was explaining to you guys before, if some athletes can't do certain things, you don't let them as a coach do that, because it's only going to hurt them. And they want to do it, but you can't. You have to be firm. You have to have structure. And that's what we do here.
That's good.
We guide people individually to be the best they can be, and we educate them. And we're like hawks. At least I have, and I have a couple of coaches that help me out. We're annoying while you guys work out. Like there's places where coaches just hang out. You guys, this is your 30-minute workout, by all means. But we definitely, we're there with you. The whole 30-minute workout. Hey, get down lower, keep your chest up, tighten up. So we say it all.
Well, it's good because you're keeping their results and success is your priority, right?
100%.
So, and one of the hardest things as a trainer to do is pull people back who are ready to get in the fast lane and go. Well, the problem is, if it's not that day, it could be a month or 2 months down the road that all of a sudden, boom, something hurts and they're out for 8 weeks, and so that's really good. Great advice for coaches out there.
Yeah, especially in this kind of environment, it can sometimes you see someone else doing that, and then you want to do the same thing.
That's where discipline comes into.
That's where
it's hard. We do it ourselves.
Right. It's that competitive nature, right?
It's just the way it works. But having a coach there, that's why we have coaches to help us stay safe and get better results faster.
And if you can modify that exercise, you can still be very intense about whatever you're doing. But as long as you're safe about it, you still get the results, but you're getting the results in a safer manner.
Awesome, that's great.
Shoot for.
Well, I really appreciate you both taking this time.
Carl, thank you for coming.
Saro Spenjian, Dr. Jeff Varghese, is Iron Fist Athletics, and website
www.ifabox.com, ifabox.com.
All right, cool. We'll have that running across the screen and contact info. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate this so much. I learned a lot from this.
Thank you, sir.
Folks, be sure to check out
Iron Fist Athletics, ifabox.com.
ifabox.com. Also check out hoonsahealthy.com. Check out some other interviews on there. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.